the government said he didn't say anything to them beforehand, right? Right. Government officials said they would try to convince Mr. Yoon to change his mind, but right now, his whereabouts are unknown. To think that the Sword King would desert. The talk about the Sword King leaving only lasted for a brief moment, and the BattleNet specialists soon began talking about the future. The best outcome would be for the Sword King to return. Even if he doesn't, I think our league ranking will remain stable. The East Asian League is quite competitive, so our rank will decrease in the short term, but if we look at the bigger picture, it will remain stable. That's right. After all, dungeons only appear in countries that are among the lowest 10%. PF. Jihan laughed at those words. To think they're saying things like that. BattleNet League rankings were important because they were directly connected to a country's safety. If dungeons appear, that's the end. They've seen what happened to North Korea, but they seem to be unaware of that. When dungeons came up, the dungeons that appeared in games would appear in real life. North Korea was a country that had suffered such a fate. The people from the government there had thought that raising players would harm them, so they'd boycotted BattleNet's league participation. As a result of that, dungeons appeared all over North Korea and swept it away. Despite that, South Korea is still maintaining its position as a top 20 country. That's right. Even if the Sword King leaves, we won't drop below 30. Yes. Japan paid the biggest price in its efforts to convince the Sword King. This will end up harming them. Basically, they were saying, it's okay. We can survive. It's Japan that will pay the biggest price. Beep. Jihan turned off the TV, feeling annoyed as he listened to them. Japan's going to lose in the end? Nonsense. Jihan remembered the future. Thanks to him naturalizing as a citizen of their country, Japan was able to remain as a top 10 country. Sword King Yoon Sae-jin. Leaving his morals aside, his talent was impressive. Of course, the price that Japan paid for him was high, and at the time, many people complained and asked what the point was of paying such a price to naturalize one player. Those complaints disappeared after 3 years passed. After Earth's tutorial ended and the world became hell, naturalizing the Sword King was considered a great move. But Jihan got up from the sofa and walked toward the picture of Sae-jin's family. His Nuna, his young niece, and Sae-jin were smiling brightly in the photo. Boom!